What up, everybody? Welcome on in. See Ball, Get Ball. We do this weekly. We do this almost daily. And I tell you what, when you start to get in the playoffs, man, we were really wondering, like, next week is the playoff game. So you're like, what are we going to talk about? Well, there's a few things to talk about now. And we'll get to them. We're going to talk about Penn State and their hiring, them getting their guy. There's injury news with a playoff team, the number one seed, which is obviously a big deal. And then we'll get into more college football news that changes the landscape of college football and the business that is college football. But first, it's Go Blue, man. It's Michigan fires Sherrone Moore, who remember he took over. They're looking for their next coach. He took over for Jim Harbaugh, who had all kinds of stuff. You know, they won the Natty in 23 and the Connor Stallions fallout and the recruiting and everything that happened at Michigan. Obviously, there was a lot of it that went down. And Sherrone Moore comes in, and he's coached the last 2 seasons. He's been suspended on and off a couple of times, but he's 18-8. And now Michigan looking for their next head coach. So not a good day for Michigan and Michigan fans, especially when you look at this team. And you know, I think Michigan, if you've been around Michigan, man, I've spent a lot of time at Michigan, and I think they look at themselves with a lot of pride in the way they do business and the way they're looked at, and the winningest program in college football history. And I think they've had a lot of this stuff now that's been brought up that's been unfortunate. And we don't know all the details, man. And I'll be honest, I don't want to talk about all the details anyways. But there's a lot of gossip going on. We'll get to the detail of it, but it's an inappropriate relationship at Michigan with someone else. And obviously, you know, the part that stinks, man, is he's got a wife and some kids. And so there's a lot that goes into this. And so they're looking for their second coach now in 3 years. And a lot will change at Michigan, and you know, it's recruiting season. I wonder about the kids that just signed. You wonder about the roster, all the turnover, all this goes into it, man. And it's just there's nothing that's ever good about it, and especially, you know, if you're a Michigan fan and it's just a ball, because there's other things to worry about. Like, this coaching cycle has been very robust. It's been enormous, right? Like, there's been so much change at so many universities. Remember, Penn State jumped in line at the beginning of this a long time ago. So now you're kind of jumping in this last. And so where they go next is their decision. And I think that's the part that when you talk about, like, when you're doing your football stuff and who you're going to hire, it's interesting. Brent, you can jump in here too. Brent Rollins joins me always on See Ball, Get Ball, and Brent writes for On3 and PFF, Pro Football Focus. You know, you go to what's next for Michigan. That's where you got to go, right? Like, you got to go who's going to replace the program. And listen, Harbaugh obviously was the prodigal son, came home, delivered them a championship, really turned them around. And now it's on to other guys. And a name that, it doesn't make me laugh. It's just a name that makes sense where they're at. A good coach that you probably don't have to pay as much because he's currently getting paid a lot of money. And that's Brian Kelly. Like, I imagine Brian Kelly's a name. I'm not saying he's number one, like, but I imagine that name will be talked about for this job, because it's a better fit where up there, up north, than it is, obviously, than it was in Baton Rouge.
Very much so. And, you know, first off, one of these things with when a school and even any business fires someone in today's world, like it's ironclad. You would almost think it's borderline ironclad, and just because of all the things that go into it, and especially someone making as much money as he is.
And he's fired with cause. Like,
when you do that with cause, like, you better
they're not
have.
Going to be. They're not retaining. They're not giving. They're not having to buy this out. Like, this is going to be. They're going to get their money back, and so they're not going to be like a lot of teams that are behind the 8 ball, paying someone a lot of money to go away.
The timing part is
horrible,
really interesting and horrible, all in the same vein, because of signing day and recruiting and all the impacts.
Portal coming,
relates to all roster, everything like that. My guess is Michigan would, and I think somebody just said it, JR, in the chat, No for Brian Kelly. I would bet that would be no.
A big no.
A couple of names. I know Pete Nakos that does the stuff for On Three. That's kind of borderline Mr. Insider at this point with a lot of these things. I saw Kalen DeBoer's name get brought up. One that I don't necessarily. I don't know that I necessarily would see that.
Well, here's the thing, Brent. If we look at it realistically, it makes sense. And we say that because the standard of where he's at, like, he's never going to reach the bar. Kalen DeBoer is in a lose-lose situation. He will never be the guy before him. He will never reach those heights. He's fighting to make the playoffs in his first 2 years. Like, that's a hard bar, man. So, like, I could see some, like, this sucks. Like, this dude still has an office down the street. Like, in the building, this dude, I walk down the hall and I can still get to Nick Saban's office. Like, so it's a large looming. Now, I think DeBoer's got a good personality to deal with it, but, like, because he's so chill and mild-mannered. But, man, like, I got to deal with this, and Alabama fans wanting to cash in lottery tickets after week 1 and go pay off my $87 million buyout that I have. So, like, I say it's not beyond the pale because that's a lot, man, for anybody to have to try to live up to.
Yeah, well, then you got to go beat Ohio State and make sure you consistently beat Ohio State. So, and if you don't, then you're out of a job there too. So that's one name. I think one that actually, to me, feels realistic is Jed Fish. That's at Washington. And then another
Jed's
name.
a heck of a coach. Jed's a heck of a coach. Offensive. I remember sitting with Jed when he was at Miami, and just when you listen to him, like, he's got a brain, man. He's got a big brain for football, and he's won. I think winning 10 games this year at Washington, he's won 10 games this year at Washington is a big deal. And the offensive pop has always been there. And so, like, Michigan would want that. Like, you got Bryce Underwood, who you paid pretty good money to, more than your coach is probably going to make. And so when you think about that, Michigan's always played great defense. That's a name that you pop in there right now and you go, man, I know he'll sure up that side of the ball. I know we usually have good defense. Obviously, that's a name. That's still not my top guy. I wonder if you're going next for my top guy. I still have one guy that I think is at the top of this list.
Well, another name that I thought of actually, but the legalities of it and the show cause and all the stuff with and I don't know if you'd want to move on from the past kind of deal and all the things there, but Jesse Minter, who's in the NFL, but his cause thing goes away like in a week or less
December
than a week,
15th.
maybe.
December 15th, his show cause goes away. And what do you say? I don't know if you want to mess with the past. The past when I won a natty in 23, I freaking won a natty. Like, what do you mean, like, mess with the past? Like, yeah, we got this show cause thing and this sign stealing stuff and all that. We got a ring, biznitch. Like, we got a ring, dude. Like, we won this whole freaking thing. He's a DC. Obviously, he's an alum of Michigan. Like, you're there. The show cause ends up. Like, I think it's a beautiful name with the love for Go Blue. I think that name right away makes a whole lot of sense.
Been in the NFL for a couple years now, so maybe he'd rather be about that life than the college life again. I don't know, but it did make me think the GIF with Avengers with Thanos. What did it cost you? Everything. You got the ring, but it's cost you a lot in the.
Has it really? What does it cost Michigan?
That's a great point.
What does it cost Michigan? Like, yeah, hey, you know what? Hey, oh my gosh, I got some recruiting violations. Oh my goodness, you took some of my coach's money and my program's money. That natty is still in my trophy case.
Yes,
you can't take it. So, like, it didn't cost him anything. Like, it cost him a slap on the wrist. Yes, my man in the chat, I'm not going to stymies nerdly, whatever. Reading is not my strength. That's why it's see ball, get ball. Yes, a Netflix show. That's what it cost you. Like, and Connor Stallion's a show cause, and Jim Harbaugh a show cause, which means nothing because he'll be at the Chargers. And Jesse Minter, a show cause, which is expiring. at a good time for Michigan football.
I will say, I think you laughed at me when I brought up Underwood going to LSU with Kiffin a couple weeks back. That looks a little different.
Would you rather have him or Trinidad Chambliss?
I mean, I'd rather have the veteran playoff quarterback right now.
Trinidad's definitely better. That I know from watching. I'm watching both. Now, the ceiling, when you have a 6'5" cyborg that can sling it and run, obviously the ceiling's high. But anyways, we thought that was a good start to the show because it's pretty nuclear everywhere it's going right now, and the reactions are.
It's going at exponential pace in terms of news and all the things that are good with it. Like if you look at your timeline, it's insane.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, we got another piece that's a big piece of college football. If you're a college football fan and you continue to join us here, we talked about it the other day, man. There's 4 teams that could win a natty that we thought. And me and Brent were actually in agreement before we talked about it even on the show. Indiana obviously being the 1 seed, being undefeated, just beating Ohio State. They were obviously the top of the list. Man, they got a big blow. And in a horrible, horrible fashion. Stephen Daley, if you watch the tape of Indiana and you watch the game, it was number 8. He was all over the place. He's the one who held saying for a long time, and they didn't call a sack, and they did call a sack. And he had a sack, he had pressures. He was all over the field in the Big Ten championship game. How important is he to Indiana? He played every snap. Every single snap of the game, he was on defense. And he's 270 pounds, quick, hyperactive. Indiana runs some form of a 4-down with Kamara and Landino and Tucker up front, and they're all close to 300 pounds, and they twist, they stunt, and they make stuff happen, man. They're really, really good, and they don't sub that much, man. And so this was a horrible break in a horrible way. Stephen Daley was celebrating. He was celebrating afterwards. Daley was celebrating, and that's how he hurt his leg, jumping up to celebrate with the fans. And they think it's a long-term, knee injury probably, or it's a lower leg injury to him. But, man, the number 1 seed getting dealt a huge blow, a huge blow to their defense, and why they were so good, man, was guys like this. And when you watch the tape, Brent, I'm sure you got some numbers because that's what you do too with all this stuff. But the only guy really I saw rotate in was Wheeler, was number 0. He rotated in for a couple of snaps. He's a big sucker too. He's 6'3", 300 pounds, but he doesn't play on the edge. On the edge is where you saw Daley rushing the quarterback on passing situations. So this is going to very much compromise Indiana and who they are defensively and why I think they're such a good defense.
In addition to he had 6 pressures in addition to playing all 57 plays in the game. And the hard part with this for Indiana is this is not their first injury on the edge. You lost Kellen Wyatt, who was so Daley's the Kent State transfer. You lost Wyatt earlier in the season, who was a Maryland transfer that was the starter initially. Yep. Daley kind of moved into that starting role. He was more rotational initially. And that's one of the things where you look at a team like Indiana that is built off of the portal and hasn't yet got or just starting to kind of do the recruiting thing. Depth is an issue. And just to kind of, for comparison's sake, so they had 57 snaps in that game against Ohio State. There were 11 guys that played 40 or more snaps. And in terms of double-digit snaps, you had 13. So it's not that many. Comparatively, Georgia, who also played 57 snaps on defense against Alabama, had 21 guys play more than 5 snaps and had 18 play more than 10. So the depth piece there and what it means for the strength of I think Indiana's defense is actually the strength of their team.
Yes.
As much as the quarterbacks and the receivers are
and their defensive line is the strength of their defense.
The defense. Yeah. So this is big time for them.
God,
and
man, It just sucks. And again,
The
I can
celebrating part's
I can handle losing my guy, like getting a sack and killing people and balling. But man, to get hurt off the field celebrating, like that just sucks. Like that sucks, man. I don't know how else to say it. Like that's just ungood, man. That's just
There's
unfortunate.
Georgia fans in here
It's
who remember,
terrible.
I think it was Malcolm Mitchell that like tore his ACL
in the end zone,
celebrate, jumping up and down
jumping
after
up and
a TE.
down. Yeah.
It's not good. And it's one where we've talked about what's the unpredictability factor within these games now. It is injuries, and it is a team like Indiana that loses one guy, or Ohio State losing one of their receivers, or anybody obviously losing their quarterback. And I do think, like, the more I've thought about this, winning 3 games for, some of these the first round games, somebody like an Oregon, in terms of the number of guys that played way more snaps, they got depth compared to Indiana, things like that. So, but the whole who can win the whole thing, I don't know. I'm thinking that list might be higher than what we initially thought. I don't know why I've thought that over the past couple of days.
You can be wrong. That's fine. I mean, you don't. Nobody said you have to be right. That's mine. But I'm not adding more to it.
Getting me in that regard is the layoff and how much
the momentum gets taken away.
Yes, and you're going to have a team like an Ole Miss and Oregon who's basically who's going to get to play a team that they should take care of and kind of be dialed in before they go play the next game.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's one for me.
You know what? I'm not gonna. I would be like, hey man, this kills Indiana's chances. But this is the same Humpy that talked about Drew Bobo being out and Georgia not having a chance because they're center. So like, I'm done with bold proclamations about somebody getting hurt. But I can say
especially one individual.
This is a pivotal piece of what Indiana is and who they are. And you're asking more guys to do more things, which is just it's very difficult. So I think it puts a dent in them. Yeah, I mean, now listen, you got some weeks to go do some things, but Indiana's a program, again, like Brent said, that's been built on the portal. But like they've also had 0 high school recruiting. Their high school recruiting has been about finding guys to develop down the road. Like it hasn't been about guys that are going to play in a national championship run. Like they don't have those guys. So that's not like a plug and play. That's not a rotate. They don't rotate for a reason. Like you want to rotate.
They got their guys.
Your idea is to rotate and keep guys fresh as possible to stay away from injuries. Why don't you rotate? Because you can't. Because the drop off between this guy and the next guy is so big. There's a lot of schools with the drop offs like this. And so I keep you fresh. My drop off's not that big, but like huge blow for Indiana, man.
Since I brought up Georgia, if you look at number of defenders for Georgia that have played over 100 snaps this season, it's 26. Number of that for Indiana is 16 that have played over 100 snaps. And it's not necessarily for them about one game. Like they should be
winning 3.
One game. It's winning 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And the shortness of the games that comes after that. And if you got a defensive line that's playing 75% plus of the snaps, and they've played 3 straight weeks basically that you have to play. That's.
Let me tell you something though. Like we haven't done this enough, but Kamara up front, Landino and Tucker, and now Daley. Those guys are so good, man. Just go turn on the Big Ten tape. I watched it again today just for funsies, and those guys own the line of scrimmage. Like they own the line of scrimmage. Really, really good. Tucker's got some great quickness for his size, man. He takes gaps and disrupts. Kamara's a big old guy that plays stand up basically. Like he can play. It's kind of like an outside backer, but he drops a lot because of his athletic ability. Now listen, he don't look like he's the best athlete on the field. He's a little bit like little sloppy, a little thicker. Not the typical guy you drop in coverage, but he is with their guy too, and all the simulated pressures that they run and the experience up front with those guys being upperclassmen, like Ben in the fire, losing those kind of guys, man, just it's a big blow.
One, to end it positively, they have time. Okay. They have time to at least practice.
But they can't
rotation.
Bring somebody in from the portal or
no.
But
like that's that good. No.
Yeah. All right. Penn State Penn State fans, we are. We've been hanging on. We've been like, all right, we've been mocked. We've been yelled at. We've been talked about how, like, what the heck is going on? James Franklin's gone. James Franklin's stealing your recruits. Guys going all over the place. And who's going to be our next guy? It was kind of quiet for a while. And now enter Matt Campbell. And I know you had to wait a while, Penn State, but you got a good one. That's all that really matters. And a lot of people are going to, just like they did on social media, are going to hit me up right in the mentions right away and be like, this dude barely won 8 games a year. Go check Iowa State's history, bro. Just go get yourself a good read. Like, it's not good. They don't win. They don't even have winning seasons. I think they have 5 winning seasons in like the 20 or 30 years before him. He had 8 out of 10, man. Like 8 out of 10 winning seasons. He didn't come in with Matt Campbell didn't have a bunch of 5-star guys to plug and play. Like, Matt Campbell is really, really known for being a relational coach. He's really good with relationships, maximizing guys, man, which means development. Like, he takes 2 stars and turns them into 3 or 4 stars. So imagine what happens when you're Matt Campbell and you get a 4-star and you get consistently have more resources and get more 3 stars. Like, you're going to naturally turn those into bigger stars. He's the son of a coach. He's from Ohio, from that area. Like, but when you talk about developments, Iowa State, when he was at Iowa State for 10 years, you want a stat? His 10 years at Iowa State, he put 15 guys in the NFL. 15. In the history of Iowa State, they had 18 guys drafted. 18 in the history of their school. So, like, he found diamonds in the rough. He developed guys. He also beat guys like Big Citrus, like the big boy in the middle. Like, he beat really high-level schools also to get guys. You put him at Penn State, like, I think, man, will this take a little bit more time probably than Penn State fans want? I think so, because so many people leaving and the timing of the hire. But the bottom line is the only thing that really matters is you got the right guy. That's all that matters. Like, you got a great person. You got a great coach that has won at a really, really high level. Hey, go check the Iowa State athletic director's quotes on Matt Campbell when he left. Like, you want to know what kind of dude Matt Campbell is? The athletic director was crying when he was interviewed by Matt Campbell because he knew Matt Campbell could have left a long time ago for a lot of jobs, but he didn't leave. He stayed. He was loyal. He wanted to stay there. He liked being there. He liked where he was at. He wanted to build something special, and he did. He built something special. They're not an elite program across college football, no, but they've been really, really good. Really, really good. And he's bringing John Heacock with him as his DC, who's been with him for 10 years. And I think that will be an interesting fit, full transparency. I'm interested to see, because one thing you've had with Penn State in the history is pass rushers. So how do they unveil them? Like, Iowa State has not had elite pass rushers. They've had some good ones, but like with your defense, finding edge guys, obviously, it makes you a better player. It makes you a better coach. And he's the 3-high safety, one of the main guys that have done that, obviously being in the Big 12. Retaining Terry Smith, who was the interim coach. He's the associate head coach, wide receiver coach. Man, I think that's big time. Why? Because if you watch Terry Smith towards the end of the season as interim of Penn State, they kind of dipped, and then he got it back together. Got it back together for sure. Like, got it back together, finished strong with this group. But more importantly, the emotion, being an alum from Penn State, the love for that school, I think that's just big time. So you got your DC. You got a wide receiver coach. You got your GM, Derek Hoodger, who was with you at Iowa State, which is a big deal, and you got your strength and conditioning coach. So you've got a bunch of really, really key pieces at the right spots that helped Iowa State become Iowa State, because you want people to understand your message. And Matt Campbell, when I say he's a relational coach, like one of the first things he did when he got there, he sat down with face-to-face guys. And why did he do that? Because he wants to know their why. He wants to know their why. He wants to know why they're there. He wants to come in there. Like, he is process-oriented, driven, relational, developmental. Like, He's an awesome coach, an awesome dude. So I think it's an absolutely great hire for Penn State.
So what's amazing about this, all the stuff that you just said, you would have said the exact same thing if he was the first hire of the cycle.
100%.
And that's what's like, and I think JR mentioned in the chat, he's like, as a Michigan person right now, they're wishing Matt Campbell was there for them. But he's not, and he's going to a competitor of yours. And when you talk about Campbell as the development piece, where did he go to college? Mount Union.
Mount Union.
Like I told you the other day, I probably cheered against him.
You need to tell the Uners. You need to tell the listeners.
Oh, so I went to Ohio Northern. That was our big rival in school. And the shirt would say that the week of Mount Union game, it would say, Muck Fount Union. I wanted to make sure I didn't stumble on that one. But
hey, and the story of why he went there to me is impressive, because he went there because he knew what he wanted to be. He had other offers to go to higher level schools. Like Matt Campbell went there to play football because he wanted to learn how to coach. Like he knew his long-term mission, and he knew where he could go, like learn great football. He coached high school football with Terry Smith, who's on his staff. Like way back in Ohio, his dad's he's the son of a coach in high school football. Like this dude's got football running through his veins, man.
And like Mount Union has been the D3 powerhouse for years.
11 titles, right?
It's a bunch.
Yeah,
and tons of pros, and that's a development piece of that. Like Sirianni played, like all these, a lot of great coaches have gone through that program, but also he won at Toledo. Like he won 9 games, 3 years at Toledo. So it wasn't like it just wasn't an Iowa State thing. Like he won at Toledo before he went to Iowa State. So I very much think that they got this right, even though it took forever. And even though
it doesn't matter how long it took.
No,
it doesn't matter how long it took. Now, you had people talking about stuff and talking ish, but now if you go kick their ace, it really doesn't matter. But I do think it's important to, like, I do think it's important to temper next year's because of the roster and what's happened and because of what his strength is. I don't think they're going to come out the gates like swinging and go win 10 games, but like you're going to build this thing the right way for the long haul, and the kids that are coming through are going to be they're going to get better throughout their career 100%. And then you obviously get to dabble now with the resources. You get a lot more resources to do a lot more with it.
The defense part that you mentioned is the most interesting part of all this, because Penn State is known for 4 down, 2 edge guys.
Go get the
that's
QB,
what they
man.
do. Go get the QB, freak shows on the outside. And that's not what Iowa State has done for his time there. They're completely
great
different.
Coaches typically find a way to use great players. It's an interesting, and here's the thing. Great coaches are great coaches a lot of times because they have great players. Matt Campbell was not afforded that luxury when he built his career. That's not how Matt Campbell built his career. He didn't go somewhere with great players and become a great coach. He was a great coach who took good players and made them really good players. And was able to do some special things at Iowa State. So Iowa State fans, you should be excited because that dude gave you everything he had. He stayed a lot longer than he had to. A lot of people take off and dip when they get the first opportunity, and he did not. And so I saw pictures of his family, like at Beaver Stadium and stuff too. Like that atmosphere is going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be fun. It'll be fun to see Matty Campbell now, like in big time Big Ten, because some people are going to really, really not enjoy him at all.
A lot of big time games.
Big time.
I know. I think it was like week 2, maybe. I made the comment that I thought the coaching cycle would be, now that everybody's kind of comfortable in what the world that exists with NIL and the cap and all the things with it. I didn't think it would be anything like this, where you're going to get, when all is said and done, you're probably going to get almost half, or well, not necessarily half of the Power 4, but like over 30, I think it is now, FBS coaching positions that have either changed or already changed. And if I told you in the beginning that Penn State, LSU, and Michigan would have new coaches or be looking for new coaches at the end of this season or during the season, unbelievable what it's happened there and all the money that's being turned hands. Which, speaking of
I'm about to say
Money.
we about to get to that next. The Signetti effect is what we're going to continue to call it here.
Yes.
On C-Ball, Get Ball, because he's cost a lot of universities a lot of money because people used to be hey, we can develop, we can grow. No.
Patience, no more.
Speaking of though, this is crazy. Like only one can be first. Only one can be first to the table, first to set a trend in college football. And when I think of firsts and being on the forefront of like spending money, being innovative, I dang sure don't think of Utah. That's not where my mind went. My mind went enormous markets. My mind went big brands. But how about Utah? Like they're the first now to get a partner. Utah announces a partnership with Otro Capital creating Utah Brands and Entertainment LLC. So basically partnering in now business with the university, which is going to be fun to watch because it'll be some form of a hybrid in how that works. But also taking, 500 milli and injecting straight cash into this thing. So here's what I think is really interesting about this. Like, if you're in the Big 12 and if you're Utah, like Utah gets $40 to $50 million a year from the Big 12. So that's pretty good, right? That sounds like a pretty good budget. SEC and Big 10 are a lot closer to $100 million. So that's a big difference. If you want to see a Big 12 team that spent some resources and immediately flew up the charts and accomplished some high things this year, I think you can look to Texas Tech, right? Like Texas Tech put some cash into their program. Look what happened. Not everybody has that ability to do that. Not everybody has Cody Campbell. Not everybody has those boosters that can go knock on their doors. How do you do it? You partner with private equity. We've heard about the Big Ten and the possibility of that happening for a while now. Utah did it, man. And I'm not going to bring up the NCAA president very often because I'm very clear on where I stand with the NCAA. So here's his quote about this. He praised it, thought it went well, really well designed, citing Utah retained control, majority ownership in booster and board seats. Excuse me. So if you're going to merge with private equity business, and you're going to hybrid this with a school system, with a board of education, with a president who determines calendar and school, which is such a big deal. And listen, I've seen a lot of people too talking about it like they're so pissed off about this deal and it blurs the amateurism rights. Shut the front door. Like right now, immediately. Like get the heck out of here. Nah, bro. We ain't here for that. Like amateurism is long gone. That ship done sailed. Like that's left. Now Utah is going, okay, this is a new trend. And this, if this goes well and business thrives, this will be the first of many. And this will be a new Pandora's box that's opened. I never thought that Utah would be the one to open this. Not first. Like you got to join the party and you got to get in this. But Brent, I would have thought this would have come from a different region altogether in the world, not in Utah. Proud of them for making this deal. They're making this deal for one reason, man. Like, I want to play ball with everybody else. They're already well coached. They're well ran. They're well developed. But they're like, wait a minute. Our crosstown rival BYU just bought a basketball player who's one of the best in the country. Like, and yes, who's going to be the first pick possibly. For 1 year rental, dropping this cheddar. I want to play. I want to play on this field with these guys. And so basically, private equity jumping into college football, the first situation of many that is coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people hear that term, private equity, and think not good things and think that it eventually just kind of turns things very negative. But reading about a lot of this, it was as much, hey, we need a little bit of help now, like right now.
Stadium renovations.
And just paying just to be able to exist and have the cash to do all the stuff that you got to do now, but also the long-term effect of it. And I think this is all of this just feels like it's moving more and more to where college football will be much more like the NFL. And you're going to have a certain level of financial commitment to be in big boy football.
Or else you won't exist.
Because the article that I can't find still, and I'm trying to search the merger of 1-3 that I wrote. My thing was that it would be based on, like, I put the top 48, however many it is that ends up being in this eventual sort of group that works at this level. But I put it as a commitment score. Determine who's in that level, because it's money, it's winning tradition, it's attendance, it's all the things that go into who is really committed financially to football. And like the Utah is saying, hey, we're finding ways, we're going to continue to be that, we're going to continue to exist in that space.
Yeah, JB, DY, 9BL, ticket prices are about to skyrocket. You dang right they are. Because this is not run like a school. This is business. So sponsorships, naming rights, alcohol, whatever business. When you look at a spreadsheet on business, it ain't about relationships. It's not about academics. It's about making cheddar. It's about bringing in the lettuce. So yes, there's a lot of consequences that come with this, and that's the thing. The thing is always the same, man. Like when you worry about this and when you talk about this for the future, it's always the fans. The fabric of college football. Does it get lost? Is it eroded? Because this is something that it's different, man. You don't see NFL stadiums that look like college stadiums. They don't look like them for a reason, man. And this is all across the country. This just isn't like one centralized location. Like this is everywhere, man. Like, and people love their schools and they cheer everything for them schools. But I know a lot of Georgia fans that when Kirby started talking about ticket prices when Kirby started talking about not being in the seats and people leaving, I know a lot of Georgia fans that came to me and was like, bro, stop raising my ticket prices. Yeah. Like the prices keep going up. You pricing me out. I ain't even coming to the games. Yeah,
I donate, and then I got to pay the tickets, like all the stuff.
So
that goes
listen,
with that.
there's unintended consequences, yes, and I'm sure everybody in the chat agrees with that. Is going to have something on to say about that. But it's fair to say, man, like we're getting to the point now where you're seeing the amount of money that's getting thrown into this. It's a lot, and if you don't run this like a business, it's going to be really, really hard to be successful. So, like I said, great coaches are dying on the vine. Great coaches that can win a lot of money, that are behind the eight ball, that don't understand this, that haven't wanted to put their heads in there. Like that's part of what's going on. Kleiman from Kansas State, like his athletic director's up there crying, like saying this is one of the great guys, man, in all of sports. And this dude's walking away because this is so hard to navigate and it's so difficult. It's not easy. Like it's not an easy world we're living in. And now Utah might have just changed the world we're living in. And maybe it's for the better. Maybe this now makes everyone start to run everything like a business and help all coaches, all programs across the board.
And it's also steps towards what eventually will be collective bargaining. Like it's going to happen.
One would hope so. I mean, and again, get this contract-based business here too, because everybody needs a contract when you're in business. You don't do business without contracts. Like players are employees, players get benefits, players get protection from bad agents, from all the other things that can happen to them. Yes, like let's make this the real deal. Like this is another step in the direction. Like, right? This is just another step that we're getting closer and closer.
10 years from now, what's it gonna look like?
I still think there will be a world for college sports, and it'll be a good world. But I think there's also going to be a bigger, stronger, more powerful world that's all about business and all about competing at the highest level. that will exist. So you'll still have others in this game, but there's going to be a smaller, more finite amount that's playing the business game where it's all business, all work, like making money, semi-pro basically.
I'm saying,
like
does football ever become its own sort of entity?
It has to. It has to. It has to. You can't make all of this money and be the main money maker and not be your own entity at some point. So it's going to happen. Like it's going to happen. But we'll leave that for another day and another discussion. But this is just a normal Wednesday in the playoffs. Like that's just what we're doing. So on to the next, man. We've already talked about Sherrone Moore. If you missed it, you can go back and look at it. I mean, he's out and at Michigan, and they're looking for their second coach now in 3 years. Some kind of a scandal. We're not going to go into all of it again. You can scroll back up to the top of the show. But this is that time of the show, man. Every week we do it, and we got more and more sound bites because it's Podium Kings. You get to hear it from the players, the coaches, sometimes the commissioners, Wesley. Sometimes we're going to get weird and hear from all types of people.
We're gonna hear from a commissioner. You're right.
Yeah.
Brett Yormark. Excuse me, I had a frog in my throat there. Brett Yormark had something to say about Notre Dame athletic director Pete. How do you say it, by the way? I've been reading his name all the time. Bevacqua, is that it?
God bless you.
Well, Yormark and I agree. See eye to eye. I think Notre Dame's administrator should have just reined him back in a couple days earlier than they did, because all these words ain't helping out the Irish. Here's what the Big 12 commissioner had to say about it.
I will say this, and I'm a little outspoken about it. I don't like how Notre Dame's reacted to it.
So
Okay,
Pete
I
Pavakla said,
think Pete's his behavior has been egregious. It's been egregious going after Jim Phillips when they saved Notre Dame during COVID.
Yeah, Yormark, I think he's got a good point, man. Don't burn these bridges, right?
Well, here's what I'll say about this. Like, I like that the AD of Notre Dame is doing this and Marcus Freeman isn't. I like that. Somebody needs to stand up for your program. I get that. It's what you say. It's how long you say it. So going on a couple days now, I've had enough. But it was one comment for me, one specific comment that Mr. Notre Dame made when he said, and I quote, "We put together one of the best 10-game stretches in the history of college football." Bro,
Who'd
you
they
done
play on that
lost
10-game stretch?
your freaking mind. Like, really? Like, listen, Notre Dame deserves to be in the college football playoff. I will debate that with you. Bro, Indiana's stretch this season is way better than what you've done. Like, going to Oregon, getting that dub, beating Ohio State, way more impressive. Okay, maybe another one this year, not in the history of the game, maybe just this year. Ohio State was more impressive because they were undefeated, clubbing people, right? Destroying people. How about Texas Tech? Like, beating everybody by 20. Like, I don't know if they're at 10 games, but what they've done obviously is impressive. Like,
Most
that's
dominant
just
performance from
dude,
wire
that's
to
just
wire out of any
this season. Yeah, like that's where he lost me. Like, listen, I'm okay with you defending your school. I'm glad it's you, and it doesn't have to be Marcus Freeman because I would feel bad for Marcus, and I don't know that he's that kind of a guy. But we're good now. We're good. I'm good. Like we're solid. We're done.
You know what it reminded me of was when Auburn got hosed by the SEC officials at Oklahoma, and they were putting out statements, I think up until like Thursday of their game week. And it's like, yeah, you may have a gripe, but at some point you gotta move on, right?
And
All right,
foreshadowing
Kenny
for the
Dillingham,
Georgia
friend of
game
the
when
show,
they couldn't recover.
had
from
him on,
the,
and he had. Here's his perspective. This show has been kind of a bummer. We're going to keep it on that note for one more Podium King soundbite and then get to something a little bit happier. But I just love Kenny Dillingham. I love his posture. I love the way that he carries himself and how he talks about the sport here. Just crack me up.
we've created a mess. Point blank. The whole industry is a mess, right? The only thing that's not a mess is the dollar signs. Those are still pointing up. Everything else is a mess. The dollar sign, the business of it, That's skyrocketing. Everything else a mess. That's just being transparent and honest. There's not, other than the ratings, the dollars, the money involved, it's a mess. Yeah. So this is just another piece of the mess.
Just another piece of the mess. Don't have a quarterback anymore. It's a mess.
I mean, technically they do. But yeah, like the what you don't understand, and listen, I talk to coaches a lot now, and what you don't understand is they've had to navigate this, and there's no answers. Like, again, it's playing a game where, like, imagine, hey, we're going to play the game this week, and the field's still 100 yards. And the next week comes along, and it's like, oh, you know what? We're going to shorten the field. It's just going to be 85. Like, that's like the rules changing, the money changing, what you're able to, what you can and can't do. It's just, it sucks. It's not fun. It's taking lives off of these coaches. It's getting years and years and years off of their lives, man. And there's very few that I've talked to that are like, man, this era is awesome. Like, very, very few like this crap. And a lot are quitting because of it, like we just talked about.
All right, here's a good one. Fernando Mendoza, Big Ten champ.
It sounds so beautiful. I want to give all the glory to God. We were never supposed to be in this position, but by the glory of God, the great coaches, great teammates, everyone we have around us, we were able to pull this off. Whoever thought the Hoosiers would be here, but now the Hoosiers are flipping champs. Let's go.
Flipping champs, baby. Mendoza's delivery is wonderful. I think he's got a broadcast future ahead of him. What do you think, DP?
I think if we put yours side by side next to his, it's pretty striking. Like, but here's the thing about Mendoza. Can you have a better representation for your university? Is there a better one you can think of? Like, every single time he talks, he gives glory to God. Every single time he talks about his teammates. Now, listen, does he talk way too fast? Is he a little bit nerdy? Yeah, he is. Any day, man. I'll take nerdy any day. And it's not a surprise why Indiana believes. But he stands for everything good in this sport. And if you ask me to pick a guy, like, I can think of others too, man. Like, Julian Sayan's been great. Gunnar Stockton's been great. And we could keep going down the list of guys that are great. It doesn't get better than him. Like, Walker 15-17 in the chat. Tebow, yeah, a little weird, right? Like, when Tebow used to talk, it was like, yeah, okay, like, it's a little different. It's not maybe as normal, but like, it's lovable. It's awesome. And listen, that's representing the face of your university that not going to get in trouble. Like, and he is a guy that dudes follow, and the way he plays is all you need to see about him. Like, that dude, he might have had a high-pitched voice and talked really nerdy. That dude he almost died on the field the first play of the game. Like, he literally almost died. His brother comes in for a play. He gets up and he goes in there and he beats the number one team in the country. And a lot of it was because of his sheer toughness, running ability, off-schedule plays. I mean, it's just incredible. Like, he's an incredible human, an incredible leader. And Indiana, man, Indiana fans should be so proud of that guy being your Capitan.
So is that why you keep me around?
Because you're such a
nerdy.
I mean, there ain't no doubt about that. Hey, don't you think he looks like Wes a little bit, though?
Yeah, he's got some Kirk Cousins-y vibes.
Yes. You like that?
I've gotten Kirk Cousins way more, and he does kind of look like Kirk. So, could do worse. He can't throw.
He said flipping
football.
Like, that's your spirit animal,
like me.
baby.
Thankfully for him,
dude.
So.
Yeah, thankfully for him, for sure. But no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's not cursing, like, because it's important to him. Like, he's like Phillip Rivers. Remember, Phillip Rivers was epic trash talk, but it was Phillip Rivers. Hey, happy Grandpa Day,
like
Phillip Rivers. Dude's a grandpa. Got signed with the Colts. But congratulations.
Dude, he has a
to him.
2-year-old son at home and multiple teenage daughters. The Colts threw him a life preserver, dude. He was ready to get out.
He's on vacation.
Hey, Daniel Jones tore his ACL. Like, Phillip Rivers, what is it going to be in practice? I mean, my gosh, like, that dude, you don't do anything for for years and years. Obviously, he was a baller and a Hall of Famer, but
You think
reminds
about
me
it
of,
with
like,
kids. What do you always, you go somewhere with kids, what's it called? It's called a trip. Like,
yeah,
he's on vacation.
he's on vacation. Like, baby,
All right,
you
so
got it.
one last question. Is there a non-zero chance that Lane Kiffin coaches somewhere other than LSU next year?
I know what you're doing there. I know that there's only one spot that you could say that about, and that would be if Kalen DeBoer somehow leaves, which
Is there a non-zero chance?
it's a zero chance. It's a 0% like Vandy making the playoffs, like I told you before the season. A 0% chance of
You were
Vandy
correct on
making
that.
it. Lane, no, surely. Now, listen, if
Because
somebody would do it,
He's already tweeted. He told Dave Portnoy, he's like, hey, come to the boot and we'll together they can't be beat. So Michigan man Dave Portnoy. So, but anyway, I was curious if you thought that was a non-zero chance.
non-zero. All right, wrapping up. See ball, get ball. That was Brent Rollins. That was Wes Blankenship. We do this several times a week, Mondays and Wednesdays now, and then we're going to get another guest this week. So we're not done. So peep out, look for us. We're going to get Marcel Reed, Cassius Howell from A&M. Should be a great interview. Talk about their matchup with Miami. Talk about their offensive tackle. Talk about Elko. There's tons to talk about with the Aggies because they've had a tremendous season en route to the playoff. Disappointing end, but tremendous season for them. So we will see you guys back here soon. Keep a lookout for us on YouTube and all the platforms. Thank you so much for joining us on See Ball Get Ball.